I quite literally can't believe what happened to me. Hey everyone, I'm a 39-year-old female and this incident happened a little over a year ago. No drugs, no alcohol. This was a very real event. I was in our bathroom, which has a clear view of the back window where my husband usually passes by before coming in the door. I was just doing my hair, minding my own business. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw him outside the window, walking up, switching a Kroger bag to his other hand to grab his keys, just as he always does. I heard the door open and I watched him walk by toward the kitchen. "Hey baby," I called out, but he didn't hear me. No surprise there. His hearing isn't the best. I heard him set the bags down, followed by the familiar clink of his keys and wallet on the counter. I clipped the last bit of my hair and started toward the bathroom door to go give him a hug and a kiss, and then ... it happened. The moment I stepped out of the bathroom, everything was completely different. The lights, which had been on just a second ago, were now all off. It was as if I had walked into a different reality. My heart started pounding, and I felt a cold shiver run down my spine. I forced myself to take a few shaky steps toward the kitchen, only to find that my husband wasn't there. The bags, the keys, everything was gone. I stood there, paralyzed, trying to make sense of what was happening. Before I could even begin to process the bizarre situation, I saw headlights through the kitchen window. I stumbled over to the couch and perched on the armrest, unable to stand any longer. As I watched in disbelief, my husband's car pulled up the driveway. What happened next is what truly chills me to my core. It was like someone had rewound a tape and hit play. I watched in utter shock as my husband walked across the window, switching the bag to his other hand, grabbing his keys, and opening tea. The only thing I could think at that point was how insane I would sound if I told anyone this. I did tell my husband as soon as he came in, but I still feel like I'm living in some kind of parallel reality or glitch. Has anyone experienced anything like this? I'm open to any explanations. This is the most bizarre, existential thing that has ever happened to me, and I can't shake the feeling that something is deeply wrong. Thank you to anyone who takes the time to read and respond. Update 1. Hi everyone, I wanted to share an update on my bizarre experience from a year ago. Thank you so much to everyone who read my story and offered their thoughts and theories. The support and curiosity from this community have been incredible, and it's comforting to know I'm not alone in experiencing these strange phenomena. Since my original post, a few more odd things have happened, though none quite as intense. I've been keeping a journal to document everything, hoping to find some pattern or explanation. First, let me describe an event that happened a couple of months ago. I was home alone working in my home office. It was around 3 p.m., broad daylight. I distinctly remember hearing the front door open and my husband's voice calling out, "Honey, I'm home." It was so clear that I got up and walked to the hallway, expecting to see him. But there was no one there, and the door was still locked. The house was completely silent. I checked the time and confirmed he wasn't supposed. Then, last month, something even stranger happened. I was in the kitchen, preparing dinner. My husband was due home any minute. As I chopped vegetables, I glanced out the window and saw him walking up the driveway. Relieved that he was home on time, I turned back to my task. When I looked up again, he was gone. I waited for the sound of the door opening, but it never came. I went to the living room, and he wasn't there. I checked the driveway, and his car wasn't there either. It was like he had vanished. About 10 minutes later, I saw his car pull up for real this time. He walked in carrying the same Kroger bags, just like the first incident. I didn't mention the sighting this time. I didn't want to freak him out or make him think I was losing it. Yesterday was the latest and most unsettling occurrence. I was in bed reading. My husband was in the living room, watching TV. I heard him call my name, but when I went to the living room, he wasn't there. The TV was off and the room was empty. I called out to him, and he responded from the bedroom, where he had apparently been the whole time. When I told him what happened, he looked genuinely concerned. We've started researching together, looking into possible explanations, time loops, parallel universes, and glitches in the Matrix. We even considered that our house might be haunted, but we haven't experienced anything traditionally paranormal, no apparitions, no objects moving on their own. Just these eerie, repetitive sequences. I've also noticed a recurring feeling of déjà vu, almost as if I'm living certain moments more than once. It's disorienting and unsettling, making me question my perception of reality. We've decided to set up a few cameras around the house to see if we can catch any of these occurrences on video. It feels a bit like living in a sci-fi movie, but we're desperate for answers. If anyone has experience with setting up this kind of surveillance or has tips on what to look for, we'd really appreciate the advice. I'll keep updating as things progress. Thank you again to everyone who has read my story and provided support. It means the world to me. Stay tuned and stay curious. Update 2. Hello everyone. This will be my final update on the strange events that have been happening. I wanted to share what has transpired since my last post and where we are now with this bizarre situation. After my last update, my husband and I installed several cameras around the house. We placed them strategically to cover the main areas where the incidents had been occurring: the front door, the driveway, the kitchen, and the living room. We hoped that capturing these events on video would give us some clarity or at least validate my experiences. The first few days, everything was normal. We reviewed the footage each night and nothing unusual showed up. Then, about a week in, something finally happened. It was around 5 p.m. and I was in the kitchen preparing dinner. My husband was still at work. I heard the familiar sound of the front door opening and his voice calling out, "Honey, I'm home." I walked to the hallway and again, there was no one there. The door was still locked and the house was silent. Heart pounding, I went to the living room and checked the cameras. The footage showed me walking to the hallway, but the door never opened. There was no one outside, and there was no sound of my husband's voice. It was as if the event happened only in my perception and not in reality. The following day, the camera in the living room captured something even more chilling. It was late at night, and my husband and I were both in bed. The living room was dark and empty. Suddenly, the footage showed a shadowy figure walking through the room. It moved from the front door to the kitchen and then disappeared. We watched the video multiple times, but the figure was too vague to make. This was the breaking point for us. We decided to bring in a paranormal investigator despite our initial reluctance to consider supernatural explanations. The investigator spent a few nights in our home, setting up more advanced equipment and conducting various tests. The investigator's findings were inconclusive. They detected some unusual electromagnetic activity and temperature fluctuations, but nothing definitive. However, they did have one theory that stuck with us. They believed our house might be located in an area with a weak spot in the fabric of reality. This could potentially explain the glitches and repetitions I had been experiencing. We were left with more questions than answers. After much deliberation, we decided to move. We couldn't continue living in a place where reality itself seemed unreliable. We found a new home in a different part of town and moved in last month. Since then, there have been no strange occurrences, no repeated sequences, and no shadowy figures. I still feel a lingering unease, a sense of uncertainty about what happened and why. Sometimes I wonder if we'll ever fully understand the events we experienced. Was it a glitch in the Matrix, a time loop, or something else entirely? I don't know. But I do know that I'm grateful for the support and curiosity from this community. Thank you to everyone who followed my story and offered their insights. Your responses helped me feel less alone during a deeply unsettling time. For now, we're focusing on settling into our new home and hoping that whatever was happening is truly behind us. Stay safe and keep questioning reality. You never know what might be lurking just beyond the veil of the ordinary.